This week on Fishing with Gussy, we take a road trip north of Kenora. We hit the backcountry in search of beautiful speckled trout. Fishing with Gussy is proudly sponsored by and uses Shimano rods and reels. Visit Shimano.ca for all the specs.
Should rename this Wolf Lake. Hey, welcome to Fishing with Gussy. If you watch season 1, you know that my buddies and I really like to be competitive when we're fishing. We have little tournaments and contests, and it's always a big competition to see who can catch the biggest fish or the most fish. So today, we haven't done a lot of that in season 2, but today that's what we're doing. I've got Jamie Bruce, Sean McGaughy, and Scotty Dingwall, and we're gonna have a little tournament today. We're on a Brook Trout lake. It's our first ice fishing foray of the new year, and Scott and I are gonna take on Sean and Jamie. The limit for these fish is five per person, so we're gonna have a little derby to see which team can get to 10 first. And yeah, we're fishing for stocked brook trout, so they're kind of a put and take fishery. They don't spawn, and they're really good to eat. So we're gonna take some, and hopefully we're gonna catch some and then eat them up tonight. But that's the deal. We're gonna have a little derby and see who can win the title of Ice Fisherman of the Year.
Yeah. Well, we were out here last weekend. It was a little bit warmer and caught them pretty good. So we got a little bit of a jump on these guys. So hopefully catch 5 and bury the hatchet.
We'll
early.
be watching what they're doing. It won't take us long to figure it out. All right, let's go drill some holes.
Halfway to that bank there.
Hey, that doesn't count. I think you should throw it back. That's what we're after. Those pretty little brook trout. I guess I'll finish drilling holes for everybody, and then we'll all start fishing. Okay. It's about 4 inches, probably 5 inches maybe. It's probably about 5 inches. So there's quite a bit of ice. There's lots for walking on, and it's fairly safe. So it's actually still November, and we drove by a big lake trout lake, big deep open body of water on our way up here, and it was still wide open. There was like no ice on it. So it's kind of funny how that works. But these are small, little shallow lakes. What you see is all this is. So it freezes pretty quick, and we've had a few cold nights the last few days. Hey, we're on the board. Scotty. Okay, these guys are catching fish. I don't even have a line in the water yet. I got to get after it. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
What'd you get them on?
Little spoon, yeah.
Little doodle bug?
Yep. Keep out of the hole here.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that line was actually just sitting still, and I looked back and he was...
You saw the tip going?
Grabbing it. Yeah, he wasn't there when I picked it up at first, but he bit it right away.
Well, we're going to talk more about the different ways to trigger these fish and how to catch them and stuff. They're generally pretty aggressive, especially during the early ice time frame. you know, sometimes set lines are better and sometimes jigging's better. So it's nice to have 4 guys out here today, and we can figure that out pretty quick, which is the best way to what these fish want. So sweet, we're on the board, bud. Good job. And hand augers work pretty good. As long as those blades are sharp, you know, you don't want to be banging them on the ice or anything. Keep them sharp. Keep the cover on it when you're not using it. And they're pretty slick. Yeah, Sean just missed one right here, so I'm not too worried about moving in on them or anything. I'll move in on them. It's just part of the deal, you know. There's a lot on the line here. So if there's fish around, if there's an aggressive fish around, I want to be close to it. Yeah. Oh! Too much talking. Not enough concentration. That was on the little shrimp. I got to get it back in there. That was on the shrimp and the little eyedropper spoon. Oh, you kidding me? I got line around my head. Go down, baby. I did just miss one there.
Are they touchy?
That one just kind of came in and actually lifted it. I was sitting there jigging, and all of a sudden I had slack in my line, so he kind of swam up with it. But usually they're pretty aggressive, and you'll know when they bite. You know, the fish we're catching aren't real big, but there are some pretty good ones that have been caught in here. Jamie mentioned earlier that the biggest one he's ever seen in here was about a 3.5 pounder. And I can remember I used to fish this lake a lot when I was younger and caught some 2 and 3 and maybe up to 4 pounders. So they all, like Sean said, they don't live all that long. So these lakes will cycle, and some years you'll catch a lot of fish, but they'll be small, and other years you'll get a run of bigger fish, but maybe not as many of them.
Next, we show you bait you can snack on. We'll be right back.
Hey, get over here. I got a hot tip for you. Shimano has redesigned the Cronarch, Corrado, and Sitka bait cast reels, the Sustain and Stratic spinning reels, as well as the crucial Compre, Claris, and Convergence line of rods for 2012. Get down to your local dealer and check it out. Competitive anglers, watch for the Shimano Platinum Angler Program. They've got some great rewards for anglers that use Shimano products in tournaments in 2012 as well.
There's no place like this.
Why should you choose Rema Roofing? Maybe because they guarantee a free estimate within 48 hours of the initial call. Or because they're quality BP certified installers with a lifetime warranty on materials. You choose them because they have a 10-year workmanship guarantee with special rates for contractors and have been family owned and operated since 1988. They show up when they say they're going to show up. But best of all, Rema Roofing does it right the first time.
Countryside Manor Bed and Breakfast. It's a place to call your own. With a breathtaking view overlooking beautiful northwestern Ontario, you'll find all the peace, quiet, and comfort desired for a wonderful stay. The Countryside Manor Bed and Breakfast offers all your favorite conveniences, and with a delicious breakfast that can't be beat. You'll want to come back again soon. Call today to make your reservations or visit our website to find out more. Countryside Manor Bed and Breakfast. Stay with us. You deserve the best.
Looking for fishing tackle and friendly one-on-one service like nowhere else? You'll find it at Bobby's Corner and Sport Shop, where all the big fish like to play. Check out the big catches coming out of Bobby's Sport Shop. Wall to wall, Bobby's is packed with thousands of muskie, bass, and other baits and lures, guaranteed to give you the cutting-edge advantage. Bobby's Corner and Sport Shop, Highway 17, Vermilion Bay. Why would you go anywhere else?
So for probably 95% of the rest of the hard water year, we're going to use flashers, Humminbird ice flashers, because we like to see what's going on down there. We like to see our jig, the fish come up to it, helps find fish and helps us know what's going on. Today we're doing something a little different. We're not using them at all. There's a couple reasons for that. Probably the main reason is because they're actually, if you turn a flasher on, you'll be able to hear the transducer making a little, kind of sounds like a little bit of a clapping noise. And these things can be pretty finicky some days, and we're fishing in such shallow water. We're in probably 4 feet of water right now, that could send a little bit of a spook towards them, and we might not catch them as good or at all. Another reason is because it's so shallow. The beam is going to be so narrow on there anyway. It's just, I mean, you're probably better off just looking down your hole, and we're on a pretty clear lake. If you huddle over or get in like a portable ice shack, you can get right on top of them, and you'll actually be able to see your jig and see them come in and everything. So when you're going speck fishing, early ice, leave the flasher at home.
So, funny thing, we're actually using shrimp for bait. So I've never gone fishing before where you can actually eat the bait that you're using to catch these trout. So we're using shrimp.
Get 'em, partner.
There's no, bad hook set, bud. That's a good piece of shrimp right there. There's no minnows in Kenora right now. Jamie called them minions. I talked to him on the phone last night. He goes, "Bud, I don't know what we're gonna do for bait. There's no minions in town." So that was like the word of the night for me. But anyway, we got some shrimp. These guys used them last weekend and caught them. So that's pretty simple. You can steal your girlfriend's shrimp that she's got sitting in the freezer at home, thaw them out the night before, and rig up. So these guys have already caught some fish. I'm just getting rigged up right now. I'm just gonna use a little spoon. That's just a Northland eyedropper. It's just like a spinner blade with a little bit of lead in the back of it, painted up, and it flutters around pretty good. And that's that. The other thing that Scott caught one on a jig and a minnow, and he got one on a spoon right so far. So you can use a little jig with, we don't have any live minnows. We've got some frozen ones, sort of left over from last winter. So they're not going to be perfect, but yeah, you can see I've got an assortment of some little spoons. There's a little jig there. This is a little Blue Fox sort of swimming jig. It's kind of a neat thing that I think will probably work pretty good as well. So let's get a line in the water and see if we can catch some fish. When it comes to choosing ice fishing rods, and it doesn't matter which species of fish you're after, there's the right rod for just about every type of lure that you want to use. And these fish that we're after today aren't real big, but there's a chance at some pretty good sized ones. So you don't want to go too light, but you want to use fairly light rods. So I'm using Fraybill ice fishing rods. This is a 38-inch medium, which is a pretty light whippy rod. I'll use it for crappies as well. And you can see it really has a lot of bend to it. So you're not going to break light line with this rod. It's going to be pretty good. And I just got that little eyedropper spoon on there with a piece of shrimp. Some Power Pro braided light line, and then a little 4-pound test fluorocarbon leader. And that's sort of my rig there. And then on my other rod, this has sort of been my set line. You can see I got 2 holes drilled here, so I'm jigging the spoon kind of aggressive, and then I've got just a little jig on this one with a piece of minnow, a little piece of a frozen shiner on there, and I might go to the shrimp. It seems like the guys are getting more of them on the shrimp so far, but this is a Fraybill quick tip, and you can see it's got a really soft, light little tip on it. And I love this rod for crappie fishing, perch fishing, because you can really see those real soft little bites. And then, that's got backbone back here. So it's not just a noodle rod. It's just got a real light tip, and you can see those soft bites. So, you know, a lot of people fish for crappies in the winter. You can imagine this is pretty slick because you can really see those light little bites, and it's got the little bead on the end of it, so you can see it because the tip's pretty thin, and it's sure nice for compared to what we had, you know, 5 or 6 or 10 years ago. It was pretty basic stuff, but now we can match, just like open water, the right rod to the right fishing situation, and that's going to help you catch more fish. It's a chunky little sucker. Oh. Catch and release one there. I was just gonna try to wash them off a little bit. It's all right, it was on camera, so we still get the points. I gotta get some more shrimp.
Coming up next, we warm up only to cool down again. Don't go anywhere.
Power Pro Super Slick 8 is smooth as silk and casts like a bullet. Enhanced body technology makes it thinner, stronger, smoother, and quieter. Use brown in the wood, green in the weeds, and yellow for high-vis fishing situations. Power Pro Super Slick, unleash the power with none of the noise.
Everything you'll need to keep your engine running this winter can be found right here at Devil's Gap Marina. They're full service and open all year round, so you can relax in the car and keep warm. Or not. All of those convenience store items with none of those convenience store prices. From snack foods to fishing lures, service with a smile, and the most affordable gas on the lake. Devil's Gap Marina, located at the end of Matheson Bay Road on beautiful Lake of the Woods.
Lund boats have been built for anglers by anglers since 1948, so they know what they're doing. I rely on them for all of my fishing, whether I'm in a tournament, guiding, or just going out for fun with my buddies. They have the best warranty in the business. You owe it to yourself to go check them out. Head down to your nearest Lund dealer. They'll be able to look after you. Good fishing.
Goodyear, chosen to get through tough winters. And the tire dealers you choose for great service trust Goodyear too. Their experience with winter tire care inspires the expert service they pass on to you. Goodyear, more driven.
There's only one way to experience summer on Lake of the Woods this year, and Wood Lake Marine's got it. The 2011 selection of Lund boats are here, and Wood Lake's got them ready to blast off. With high-quality marine name and other recreational products, the best selection is available to you new or used. Their award-winning staff of dedicated professionals will help you find the right boat to meet your expectations and budget. Delivering you the ultimate boating experience. Wood Lake Marine. Call or click today.
You can see all these holes we're drilling are all pretty close to shore, and if you know, one of the holes that Scott caught a couple out of earlier, you could see a tree coming in the water, and we just drilled out in front of it, and the hole was right at the end of the tree. So you can imagine those fish, they're kind of like largemouth bass in that they like to be around that kind of cover, and they can find and catch food around those trees and stuff, but they like to be near the shore in that pretty shallow water. So we're fishing anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6 feet, and that's where all the action is. Sweet! Yeah! We started a fire a little bit ago just to have a quick little warm up. So it was starting to die, and I just yelled across to Jamie that he better keep the fire going. And then I got a fish, so he started to walk up there, and then he bailed out. This is a smaller one, but look at how beautiful that is. And these are still good to eat. Just pan fry them like whole. But look at the colors on that. Isn't that awesome? On that little sucker. Real pretty fish. Love it. Love them.
That's her, boys! Shut her down! Well, they're not big ones, but I believe that makes 5. There's 2 more, and one of the tickets to our success is this little rig here. I think we caught 3 or 4 of our fish on it. It's called a dropper rig, and what it is just a trout style spoon, something that you'd use for like a big lake trout. And you put a swivel on the top and just maybe 10 inches of 6-pound fluorocarbon, and then just do a little circle hook. And these things actually work a lot better with live minnows, because what happens is it's just light line, so the minnow can swim around. You just dorsal hook it, and it'll kind of kick that spoon and send off a lot of flash. And that spoon's way too big for a brook trout, especially in this lake. But they'll see that little minnow or whatever you got down there, and just slurp it in. And this has probably been one of the best rigs for inactive fish over the years. When they're active, you can catch them better on rattle spoons like the Northland buckshot and stuff like that. But on a day like today, it's cold and they're just not really going that good, so that's the deal.
One was just hitting my set line. There he is. You don't want to, on this little bit of ice, you don't want to run around too much because you're going to end up spooking them. So you could see I was just sort of sneaking over, and he wasn't there, and then I jigged it a couple times and he hit it, so. Sweet. I made a switch up to a little, Scott was catching them pretty good on the little red doodle bug, and I switched up to that, and that's been getting them pretty good, that little spoon, so. I don't know what it is, but these little fish seem to like red. So that's just kind of a glow red color, and sweet. That's gonna put us at 8, and I think those guys are at 7, so it's gonna be close down to the wire here. But we're leading, so that's what I like. That's what we wanna see.
Coming up next, we find out who's got the hot bite.
Hey, get over here. I got a hot tip for you. Shimano has redesigned the Cronarch, Corrado, and Sidecar baitcast reels, the Sustain and Stratic spinning reels, as well as the crucial Compre, Claris, and Convergence line of rods for 2012. Get down to your local dealer and check it out. Competitive anglers, watch for the Shimano Platinum Angler Program. They've got some great rewards for anglers that use Shimano products in tournaments in 2012 as well.
Looks like a burn.
Any tiny detail could be the key.
Are you okay? You seem a little off, even for you.
What? You know me, Watson. People person.
Napa Auto Pro. keeps cars, and sometimes their drivers, young a long time.
Lund boats have been built for anglers by anglers since 1948, so they know what they're doing. I rely on them for all of my fishing, whether I'm in a tournament, guiding, or just going out for fun with my buddies. They have the best warranty in the business. You owe it to yourself to go check them out. Head down to your nearest Lund dealer. They'll be able to look after you. Good fishing.
Matt Ryberg from Sioux Narrows, Ontario.
And I'm Brian McNanny from Sioux Narrows, Ontario. Me and Matt have been fishing together for 7-8 years now, and it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, we get along sometimes. I don't know, I think our best time in fishing tournaments must have been KBI. We came in on a close finish, but we ended up winning it, and I think for both of us, that was just one memorable moment that we'll always cherish in life.
The key moment for us in Shaw KBI 2009 was when we pulled up to our first spot. Didn't actually catch any fish, but we looked down and we seen a school of 3 to 4 pound largemouth, and we went back there 3-4 times that day, and every time we went back, we ended up catching one more, and that put us over the top that day.
We've all caught 4 fish each. It's 8-8, and so we're gonna go to 10, and everyone has to catch one more each. So each person has to catch one, and whatever team gets to 10 first is the winner, and it's gonna have some serious bragging rights. So everyone got it?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see who's got the hot shrimp and jig on. Uh-oh.
I'll take a seat on the bench, boys. So that's another one on the dropper rig. And like I said, when they're not that active, that's the deal. So now it's up to Sean to catch one more here. I'm at 5, so I'm done fishing. He's got to catch one and put these guys in the ground.
I just caught one, so we're at 9 also. So Scotty's getting in on the action. A lot of times, you catch one and get your bait right back down there again, and they'll have a friend with them, just like smallmouth. So it's between Scotty and Sean, and winner take all, buddy. Get them.
Oh, he lost one.
Oh!
No!
Let's go, Scotty. Come on, bud. I don't know if it meets the size minimum. What was the winning lure?
Northland buckshot.
Little buckshot, huh?
Sorry, Scotty.
Yeah. All right, well, not very often that that me and Scotty get beat by these guys.
Yeah, it's not the KBI, but it's a victory, and we'll take it.
Well, they better enjoy it, because yeah, that's a hard-earned victory, and you know, that's the way it goes. So came down to the wire, and they were out pre-fishing earlier in the week, so they had a little upper hand on us, there, and that looks like that was the deciding factor. So anyway, good time on the ice today. We're gonna get packed up and get the show on the road, go home, clean those fish up, and we're gonna eat pretty good tonight, so it should be fun.
Fishing with Gussy proudly uses Power Pro Super Slick Line. Power Pro, all of the power with none of the noise.